Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Roxy Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 6 and 7. So much has happened in these last few episodes, you guys. So much drama. I think there's a lot to come for this season, so I'm really starting to get excited for it. But yeah, grab your drink, grab you a snack, sit back and relax, and let's get into it. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Okay, you guys, so the Islanders are all dressed up. The girls are wearing white lingerie and the boys are wearing white shorts, okay? And they walk out and they see this gigantic bed, okay? I don't know how the producers put that together, but it's definitely giving P. Diddy vibes. I don't know if you guys ever seen the P. Diddy huge bed, but that's what it's kind of giving. Now, Ariana Maddox comes out and she explains to them that they're going to be playing a little game, okay? The boys will be locked at the headboard of the bed, and the girls will be blindfolded with their personal paint color. The girls will have to rely on their touch, chemistry, and instinct, feeling your way to find your man, leaving your mark, right? Then once they find their man, they can like handcuff them, and that's the one that they choose. Okay, guys, so starting off, we have Trinity. Trinity's color is purple, and she kisses every guy until she finds her partner, Bryce. Once she finds her partner, Bryce, she cuffs her hand and sits next to him. Okay, so Trinity's challenge was easy peasy, lemon squeezy. She finds her man and they're cuffed up. It is Mel's turn, and Mel's color is green. Mel, I think that, I don't know what's up with Mel. I think that she's like a little bit overly freaked out, you know, her and Kenzie Chow. They just be doing way too much. They have this like desperate energy, and I don't even know if, however, Kenzie, I feel like she's more stable mentally. I don't feel like Mel is stable mentally. I just get that like she's all over the place in her mind. But anyway, Mel goes ahead and kisses everyone. And she's kissing them, Chow. She is using tongue. She is doing her thing. Even Trinity, she's up kissing Trinity as well. Okay? And Trinity loved the kiss. Then once she gets to Sincere, she gives him a really good kiss. And then she's like touching over, and then she's like, is there more people? And then there's Corbin. Corbin's the only one left, the newest bombshell. And so she goes over to Corbin and kisses him. Then she goes right back to Sincere and kisses him. Then she goes back to Corbin and kisses him. Back to Sincere, kisses him. And then I think she kisses Corbin one more time and then just sits down with Sincere, Chow. Now, in this moment, you guys, I felt so bad for Sincere, and I know Sincere feels very embarrassed right now, because this girl is kind of like playing him in his face, right? I mean, she's just having so much fun with this challenge. She keeps going back and forth, and I think the disrespectful part is like, Sincere and Corbin, they're kind of looking at each other while this is happening, because they're literally right next to each other. And so, I don't know, you guys. I feel really bad for Sincere. He looks really sad, and you can just tell this is not it for him. So after all of that, it's Kenzie's turn. She is the color blue. She's doing her thing. She's kissing. And all of a sudden, the new bombshell, Soul, she comes out, you guys, while Kenzie is kissing all the boys. And she goes ahead and sneaks past all the girls and starts to kiss all of the boys. The boys seem to like what they see, by the way. They seem very giddy, very happy. Also, Soul has red paint. Next up is Bia. Bia has pink paint. At first, she kisses KC. She was, looking around trying to find where Gabe was, and right next to KC was Gabe. So she was able to find Gabe right after KC. She gives Gabe a really good kiss. She also kisses KC though. And Gabe looks happy, I guess. I don't know. I get an awful vibe from Gabe, you guys. I don't know what it is about him. I don't find him cute, and I just think that he is like just weird. I don't think that he cares for Bia at all, honestly. And he kind of shows that later on in these episodes, Chow. But moving right along. Okay, you guys, so now it is Kata's turn, and Kata's color is orange. So she goes to try to find Zach, and while she's doing that, another bombshell creeps on in, Jen. Jen is a blonde, and she said that she is a tall blonde with green eyes and big boobs and a big heart, and she is ready to take yo man. All right, so she's on fire. The boys seem to really, really like her as well. Very excited. She goes to kiss all the boys. Again, Kata doesn't even know that literally Jen is right next to her kissing the boys. Okay, so now it is your girl Anaya's turn, and she has the yellow paint. Anaya as well as Kata, I believe they do not kiss anyone. So, Anaya was just more so feeling for the boys to see who is who, so then she can kiss Casey. And when she gets to Corbin looks disgusted. And here's the thing. I see a lot of people saying, well, that's not his type. He doesn't have to like her. I think there's a difference between, not liking someone physically and looking disgusted with them. There's, a fine line there. And I feel like, he was being a bit disrespectful. Anaya is not an ugly girl. And if you don't like her like that, you can still just kiss her. I mean, you've been kissing everyone in the freaking villa. And, whenever all the other girls went to go kiss you, you weren't looking like that. So you're supposed to be all for Kenzie, right? Yeah, and he's not all for Kenzie. I think that he's literally just with Kenzie so that he can stay on Love Island because he knows how desperate she is. But yeah, so it's just kind of a weird vibe. But she eventually ends up finding Casey. She kisses Casey, cuffs him up, and sits down. Okay, so now the game is over. The girls take off their blindfolds, and Ariana asks the girls what colors they had. And then the girls realize that they don't have red paint, right? They don't have that red color. And so they know something's up, right? And then at that point, Anaya looks super upset just because Casey is literally covered in red paint, all over himself, all over his chest, stomach, arms, just red everywhere. So obviously Anaya's a little upset. Also, Ariana asked them how they're feeling. And Casey said he feels blessed. I'm way up. I feel blessed. Okay, that's how Casey was feeling. After that, Ariana brings out the two new bombshells, both Soul and Jen. And then she's like, but wait, there's more. Girls, you didn't think I forgot about you, did you? And then guess who walks out? Boom, bombshell, Caleb. And Caleb is giving me to be Rob, right? You guys remember Rob from Love Island? I feel like that's it's like a to be version of Rob. He sounds just like Rob, doesn't look like him though. Caleb, I don't think he's not ugly, but he's just not I feel like Rob was so much cuter than Caleb, But yeah, so Caleb is there and he kind of introduces himself to everybody. Now you guys, Mel is so freaking excited. Look at how big she is smiling. So she just did that back and forth with Corbin and Sincere, and now this girl is jumping up and down. Apparently she's so happy for Kenzie Chow. That's what she says, at least. But she is just so giddy. I haven't seen her smile this big ever on the show. This is my first time seeing her smile that big. She is just as happy as she can be. The other girls are excited as well, but Mel is definitely the most excited, even more so than Kenzie. So now it is Caleb's turn, and Caleb proceeds to kiss all of the girls. And he gives Mel a really good kiss, and then Sincere's like, all right now, cowboy. And then Caleb eventually gets off. Now, when it comes to Kata, Zach did not like how into the kiss that Kata was, because she was doing a lot, I'm not gonna lie. She was wrapping her legs around Caleb. Caleb was going for it, and at some point Zach was like, all right buddy, chop 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 chop, and that Caleb did not respond at all. He just kept kissing Kata. Okay, so they're just making out, and Zach is getting more and more upset. So the challenge is over. There's some high tension in the villa, and the boys go talk to the new girl bombshells, and the girls do the same. They get to know Caleb, and of course anything Caleb said, Kenzie is just so for it. Me too. Yeah, me too. And I'm like, girl, just calm the F down. Oh my gosh. I just don't like her desperate energy. You know what I mean? And I feel like she has this energy, this desperate vibe or whatever. because in the very beginning she really didn't get picked and she wasn't anyone's like preference or first choice or whatever you want to call it, right? And so now I think that she's just like, I want to feel like I'm wanted. I want to feel like all these guys want me. I don't know what it is, but it just gives desperate, right? So after all that drama, tensions are kind of high in the villa, but Sincere and Mel, they go for a chat, right? And you can tell Sincere is still very sad, and he tells Mel how he felt that he did not like that and that he had to watch her go back and forth, and he was just locked to the bed just looking at her, and, you know, he was just really upset. And Mel proceeds to say, well, I didn't know it was Corbin. Girl, how did you not know? I mean, first of all, I think that's an excuse. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. I think she knew she was kissing Sincere and Corbin back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because how couldn't you? Right? For one, you know it's Sincere because Sincere's the only guy in the villa that wears a man bun. Right? It's very easy to probably tell Sincere even if you are blindfolded. Right? And when it comes to Corbin, you had to have known it was him too. I mean, for one, not only does he have a specific like hair texture and type, he's very tall, he's very big. I'm pretty sure she knew it was Corbin. She just didn't want to admit to it. And I feel like that's another thing with Mel when I say like her mind is just a little bit crazy. This is what I'm talking about. You know, and it's like you're trying to make it seem like everyone else is just like stupid and that you were like, no, I really didn't know it was Corbin. Just own up to it. Be like, you know what? I messed up. And she ends up saying she messed up. But first she was doing all of this. I didn't know. Just be honest, Mel. We all know you know. Right? How could you not know? Especially because you kept kissing the boy over and over and over again. You knew it was Corbin. Who else would it have been? Who else? Who else has curly hair? Zach has curly hair. Right? KC has curly hair. But they're different textures. You would know. And plus, Corbin is very tall. He's way bigger than Zach, right? So we know at the end of the day that you knew it was Corbin and you knew it was Sincere. Just admit to it, move on, and go from there. But of course, like I said, she never really admits to that, but she does say, you know what, I messed up, I'm sorry. Now we are moving on to Anaya and KC. KC and Anaya have a little chat, and I think Anaya is very upset because, again, he has the red paint all over himself, and he said he was way up. He feels blessed, right? So I think that comment plus the paint, she's not happy. And Casey proceeds to tell her that he still really, really likes her, but, however, he can't see his head turning, but he finds Soul attractive. He says that he finds Soul attractive. Jen is not his type. But he said, you know, a chat wouldn't hurt. I can't see anyone turning my head, but I still would like to get to know people. Like, he feels like they're still in a phase where they can go around to get to know other people. And Anaya, girl, I think that you need to do the same. I think, Anaya, you need to do the same. I think that you are very locked in with Casey, and I feel that same way about Anaya and Beatrice. I feel like they're both very locked in on their couple, and y'all need to flirt more. Y'all need to get to know these other boys more. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like you shouldn't be so closed off. But I understand where Naya's coming from. I'm not saying like she shouldn't feel sad or anything like that, but I'm saying just like KC is wants to get to know other girls, you should be wanting to get to know other guys, right? So they have that chat, and you know, Casey doesn't like how sad Anaya looks, so he tells her to come sit on his lap, and they share, I think, a kiss, and they hug and stuff like that. So now Zach and Kata have a little chat. Zach is obviously very upset with Kata, and he tells her, like, yo, I didn't like that, the new bombshell Caleb, you know, you're over here wrapping your legs around him, you know, I'm not messing with that. And then Kata was like, well, I'm sorry, I definitely did not mean to make you feel that way, I'm so sorry. And he was like, you know, well, with the bombshells, I told them that I was closed off and that I really, really liked you. And, you know, and then Kata was like, oh my gosh, like, you told them you're closed off? And no way. Like, she was like really, really giddy about that. And I think as soon as he said that, Zach regretted it because he was just like, oh my gosh, like, why did I use that word? Because, you know, closed off in Love Island means like you're not seeing and talking to nobody else. So I think that he kind of regretted that. But you guys, that actually wraps up episode 6. We're going to go ahead and move on to episode 7. Okay, so the Islanders go to bed, they wake up, the boys make them breakfast, you know, the whole routine that they usually do. And Gabe pulls Soul for a chat. Now, Gabe, I think that with Gabe it's all lust. Like, I think that with, you know, he kind of looks at girls that, like, very lustful. Soul seemed kind of happy to talk to him, but I could tell, like, she wasn't really feeling him, right? And so they just start talking, and Gabe says, like, he knows what he wants, and he begins to kiss Soul. Soul looked kind of grossed out, and she even says in her confessional that she can taste his, like, pheromones on his mouth, and she says that her body is rejecting him. And yeah, that's how I feel about Gabe as well. Like, I feel like he's just weird, gross, and, like, I would not want to kiss him. But yeah, they have a little kiss. I wonder if Beatrice is ever going to find out about this. Of course she will eventually, but as of right now, she has no clue that Gabe just did that. Anaya and Sincere have a chat. Right now, they kind of have, like, similar feelings about their couples. Sincere tells Anaya that he feels very disrespected from Mel. He keeps disrespecting their relationship in him over and over and over again. And Anaya is starting to feel the same, that she's feeling like Casey is disrespecting her in her relationship. And they kind of bond on that. And I love their little chats. Like, they have these daily little chats with just Anaya and Sincere, and I think it's really cute. So now, ironically, Mel and Casey have a chat while Anaya and Sincere are having their chat. And Mel pretty much talks about last night. And she's like, look, I had no idea that I was kissing Corbin. And Casey kind of just looks at her and she's like, I just had no idea. I was blindfolded. I really had no idea. Like, I could not see anything. And then Casey kind of clocked her and he was like, okay, well, like, you're playing too much. Like, I love you, but you know, at the end of the day, like, that was Corbin. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's this is like, and that's what I mean. Mel, own up to it. Just own up to it, girl. Be like, you know what? I messed up. I kept kissing Corbin. You know, just own up to it and move on from it. Because the more you deny it, the more you look sus in front of everyone, and people are going to start to view you as just a liar. You know what I mean? Because it's very clear you knew who it was. It's very clear. And that's why everyone, when you tell them you had no idea, they call you out and like, girl, you knew, right? But yeah, they just kind of chat about last night and how Mel had no idea. She feels bad though, and that she did too much. Going back to Anaya and Sincere's chat, Anaya's still very upset from all this. Like, she starts to get emotional. And then Sincere, the sweet man that he is, says, don't cry, bub. Shoulders back, chest out. Even when you're sad, chin up. And I thought that was so cute. And I kind of think that, I know that Anaya liked Sincere in the beginning. I don't think that Sincere, like, looks at Anaya like that, if I'm being honest. But I wonder if a beautiful relationship blossoms from this. Because they do have their little chats daily. They're kind of in the same predicament. So I wonder, like, in the future, if they might have a little fling, you know? But yeah, it's very cute, the advice that Sincere gives. And also, he spills some tea to Anaya and says, KC did say that his ex looked exactly like Soul. And that made Anaya freak out even a little bit more. Because that's some heavy information, right? He's like, don't tell anyone. We know Anaya about to go tell people, chow. You know, so that's how that went. All right, you guys, so now we're back to Zach and Kata, and Zach wants to talk to Kata about what happened last night. He says he's not ready to be closed off yet, you know, because at the end of the day, he's like, that means a big thing in here, saying you're closed off, and he owes it to himself to stay open, you know, and explore his connection. He's saying, like, I don't think my head will turn, but, like, I want to be able to explore that if I do, you know? And now Kata is very upset about this. Last night, she seemed very sorry and apologetic. But this morning, I think that she's, like, over it. Like, okay, if you still want to feel that way or whatever, then I'm going to do my thing. And basically, Kata says she's upset and confused. And she feels like he's pulling away. But that makes her want to pull away as well. She also let Zach know that she will be talking to the new bombshell, Caleb, later on today. Also, a little side note, after Zach and Kata chat, they actually go talk to the new bombshell. So Kata goes to talk to new bombshell Caleb, and Zach goes to talk to the new bombshell Jen. I will say with Kata and Caleb, it seemed like a very like friendly chat. Like she was just saying that her options, like she's still open pretty much. It didn't seem like too much like flirty or anything really romantic in my opinion. I don't think Kata's head is going to turn. Zach and Jen, they just talked about Taylor Swift in One Direction, and Jen said that she likes that she can talk to him about like her girly pop songs or whatever. And Zach says that he loves One Direction and Zayn is his idol. So yeah, I don't think that Zach and Kata are going to end up like splitting off or anything. I think that right now they're just kind of mad at each other and that's why they're doing this, but no, I think they're going to stay together. So Sincere and Soul end up having a chat. I think that Sincere is obviously still upset with Mel. And there's some chemistry off the bat. There's definitely some chemistry. You can tell that Sincere is attracted to Soul and Soul is attracted to Sincere. And then all of a sudden, they start talking a little bit more, and Sincere says he can't wait to have more chats with Soul. And Soul says, well, I can't wait to have more kisses. And then Sincere says, like, what you mean, like, right now? And guess what? They kiss. Okay, Sincere seems happy with the kiss. Soul seems very happy with the kiss. I personally think that Soul is mostly attracted to Sincere at this point. I think Sincere is still holding back a little bit because I feel like he still really likes Mel, but he definitely enjoyed the kiss. To be honest, I'm actually kind of happy that Sincere, like, kissed Soul. I saw some people say, like, that's wrong of him to do. I feel like because Mel disrespected him so many times that he should be doing this. Like, at the end of the day, they've only been here for, like, a little bit over a week, I believe, at this point. Or, like, a week. And, I think that he should put himself out there. Because that's exactly what Mel is doing, and I don't think that it's just fair to him to be like 100% loyal and committed when she's not. And I think that he kind of put himself first in the situation. However, I still feel like he likes Mel more. I can just kind of tell. But yeah, I feel like it was a pretty good kiss. And I actually would not mind if Soul stilled Sincere from Mel. I think that would be a lot of drama. I think that would be a great watch. Moving right along, we have Gabe and new bombshell Jen. Gabe definitely seems really, really interested in her. After all, that is his type. He said blonde girls are his type. I think that he's way more attracted to her than he is with Soul. And Jen looks really happy. She looks really happy. I can't tell if she's happy just because she sees how much Gabe is attracted to her and she knows that she'll get him. Or if she's happy because she really likes him. They just met, so I doubt she really likes him. But anyway, Gabe and Jen start talking. They're doing a lot of flirting. And then he asks Jen if she ever dated a Latino. And she's like, no, but I've had a Brazilian roommate and I love cheesy bread. Yeah. And then Gabe starts speaking to her in Spanish and she's trying to learn Spanish or whatever. And he's like, all right, I'm going to give you like a little thing to say. And it's, look at me. Give me a smile. And then a kiss. The quote to me made no freaking sense, but I guess it's just a way for Gabe to kiss Jen. I don't freaking know. But they end up kissing and the kissing grossed me the heck out. They're like eating each other's faces. It just looks super weird and super gross. But Jen is like, oh, I love the way you choke me or something. And they seem great. So I'm pretty sure that at the next recoupling or whatever, Gabe is going to pick Jen if nothing changes. Because it seems like Gabe really likes her. Not really, really wants to F her. I'll say it like that because I think it's all lust with Gabe. And I think that Jen is just like, well, I'm going to get what I can, right? So finally, Kenzie and Caleb have a chat. Kenzie is so happy. She even tells him, like, finally, you're what I've been looking for. My cowboy. I finally get my cowboy. And to me, it was giving, I finally get my white boy. But needless to say, Caleb and Kenzie, they start talking about family, how many kids that they want, living on a farm with chickens and cows and pigs. And they both kind of seem to have similar interests. They actually are really cute to me, I'm not gonna lie. And just like that, boom, they kiss, and I thought it was really, really actually cute. I think they're a cute couple, Kinsey and Caleb. It's almost like they were meant to be. So, moving right along. Later on in the day, the Islanders, they get all cleaned up and they kind of all like sit next to each other. And they start chatting. Mel is still chatting about Sincere and that. And also Bia starts talking a little bit about Gabe. And she's like, you know what? If he like moves on that quick and like kisses girls and stuff, then he was never meant to be with me. And I love that about Bia. I'm glad that she is actually calling that out and she feels that way. Because honey, that's literally what's going to happen. So I'm glad you feel that way. But Jen and Gabe are most likely going to get in a couple. And Bia, you're going to have to kind of put yourself out there, girly, and try to find somebody if you want to stay on Love Island. So Sincere and Soul, they go ahead and have another chat in the speakeasy. And Mel kind of notices that they're gone. And she's like, well, I'm going to go find them. And while she's like walking to find them, the other Islanders, like Kata, they're like trying to keep an eye out just to see if there's any drama. And literally Sin and Soul, you know, they're a ton of chemistry. They're looking at each other in the eye. They eventually end up kissing each other. Now, the crazy part is they were kissing, right? Mel is trying to find them. As soon as Soul gets on top of Sincere's lap, she plays it off so smooth because as soon as she did that, Mel opens the door. And instead of like putting her other leg on the couch so that she's like sitting on Sincere, she like moves it and gets up really quickly. And then Mel pulls Sincere for a chat. So Sincere and Mel, they have their chat, and Mel asked Sincere, you know, did you kiss Soul in the speakeasy? And Sincere says, yes, I did. And then Sincere says, like, it was nothing to worry about. Like, it didn't mean nothing. Like, he wasn't doing too much. And to be honest, yeah, he was like, it was nothing crazy. But to be honest, it was. You know what I mean? It was getting intense. And if Mel would have never walked in, I think it would get actually much more intense because she was about to straddle Sincere. So he's definitely trying to play it off kind of cool. Like, nothing, it was not no serious kiss or whatever, but it was. And there's something about Mel, though. There's something about Mel that Sincere really, really likes about this girl. Because he even told her that no one can compare to Mel. After all she did, everything, he still feels like no one can compare to her. And he wanted to work on the outside. And Mel is clearly upset about all this, especially after hearing about the kiss. She also asked him who kissed who first, and he said that Soul did. And, you know, from there, Mel was like, well, you know, you know how I feel. And then Sincere goes, well, you know how I feel. And then after that, the episode ends shortly. Okay, so a lot of stuff has happened, you guys. I'm super excited for the new episode. I think that on Wednesdays, it doesn't come on. But I know Thursday, tomorrow, we'll get a new episode. So I'm super, super excited. I hope there's more drama. And I can't wait to discuss this with you guys. But so far, we're off to a pretty good start. I just don't know what's going to happen, you guys. I can't wait till Bia finds out what Gabe's been doing. Because Gabe has kissed 2 girls. And Beatrice, she talked about, like, if that situation would happen, what she would do. But I don't think that she knows it already happened. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited to see Bia's reaction about that and, you know, what to expect moving forward. All right, you guys, that is a wrap for season 8 USA episodes 6 and 7. Wow. So much happened, you guys. I feel like Kenzie and Caleb for sure are going to end up coupling up, and I think that they'll be completely fine. All the other couples, good luck. You know, Mel and Sincere, they're going through it. Casey and Anaya, they're going through it. Gabe and Bia, they're going through it. Kata and Zach, they're going through it, child. Everybody, you know, is pretty much going through it right now. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next. But anyway, thank you all for watching so much. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you care. We are out of here. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.